Hello, good morning. A warm welcome, emphasis on warm, from Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Chucker, Keith Fusto here. And Keith, we are blessed once again with beautiful weather, aren't we,
It's
lucky?
getting a little redundant, but I like it. It beats the rain, it beats the snow, the sleet, the ice, you name it. I'll take this any day of the week.
Absolutely. Short sleeves for both of us. I'll take this any day over the snow and the ice and cold fingers. Perhaps the horses like it a little bit cooler, but they've
Yes.
been dealing with it well. And of course, we've got beautiful facilities here and everyone being able to wash down the horses and look after them. So that's all been going pretty decently as well. Let's look at what's ahead for today. 9 race card coming up. And in race 4, this little sequence kicks off.
There it is.
Rainbow Pick 6. That carryover keeps on growing. How much do we have, Keith?
$625,866.
I like the sound of that. I wouldn't mind that in my bank account. So do make sure to get tied on. Starts right here in race number 4. Of course, we're only a week away, as it's about 2 weeks away, I do believe, as it stands with the Belmont coming up. I'm getting all my dates confused here, but super exciting. Of course, we had the Preakness not too long ago. Final duel of the Triple Crown. The Belmont Stakes gates open at 10. You can watch at Laurel Park, you can watch at Pimlico, and you can place some of your wagers on Friday, June the 4th already. If you're an early bird and you want to get going with it, then by all means come and find us and we'll facilitate for you. Now let's have a look at the current track conditions. As we mentioned, I mean, you can't really not mention how good the weather has been. Fast and firm. Already 80 Fahrenheit.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Track is fast. Turf is firm. Holding up nicely as we go along through this Pimlico meet. Inside, again, a little good, maybe a little bit better spot to be. We're going to keep you abreast of that situation. Turf playing fair, but, yeah, got to love these conditions, consistent. That's what we like.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I agree with you. We do see that speed has been working well, but, we've seen some horses come from off the pace, snatch the front runners as well. It's always good to see, so you don't hold it against anyone. Any trends on the turf, or tends to play evenly? I've seen some closers.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty fair all in all on this turf course. And once again, we're talking about the turf racing. It's a little tough to handicap because you've got these horses off of time, and you got to go back in the Wayback Machine and find some horses. That's a reminder. Yesterday, you beat me yesterday in that last race. Battle Bus was twice the price, and if he had a little bit more racing luck, he got stymied there at the 3/16, and might have got it done. So I don't know. We'll get you
Sky's
a
not
light
falling
beer.
helped
We'll
me
get
out.
you a cheap light beer
How
later on
about
today.
wine? I like wine.
Well, we'll do wine then.
Let's go with wine.
I'll get you one of the cartons you throw in the refrigerator. That'll be perfect.
That sounds nice.
Okay.
A little bit early still in the morning to be talking
right.
about, adult beverages. But, I had some coffee beforehand. Let's get going here with
Okay.
that first race. Of course, kickstarts the early pick 5 sequence. 12% industry low. Takeout always saves the bet with Express Bet, first raising the Strana Group, providing you with the best conditions possible to make some money, to get some bang for your buck. Race number 1. We'll go to your top selection first, Keith, which is the number 3, Hazel's Little Man, for trainer Jamie Ness. Jamie Rodriguez went through to the next level after winning at Parks in mid-March. Had a bit of a break. That was a good race though. The leader was gone that day, but Hazel's Little Man managed to go get him, had his eyes on the prize, comes in here fresh. I think you do have a stat on him as well.
I do have a stat for Jamie Ness. Here we go. The last 2 months on the dirt, 12 for 26, 46%. That's a whopping percentage. 20 for 26 in the money. 5K to 10K kind of runners, right? In this level, we're at the $10,000 level this afternoon. The ROI is a positive 1,250. This horse has ascending buyer figures. Certainly Salmon Sai on the drop and the first gelding and the Lasix and everything else is going to take a ton of money here for Brittany Russell. But Hazel's Little Man, I like the improvement in this horse. This 3-year-old is doing the right thing right now. Little freshening, a bullet work coming into this. He's inside speed. I guess maybe Swing Your Sword will bring it. Sometimes he does. Swing Your Sword brings the speed. Sometimes he doesn't. So a little bit of a guess with him. But improving form here for the 3. I'm going to try to get him to upset the 4 horse in here, Salmon Sai.
Yeah, I use Swing Your Sword on top because he showed a variety of running styles, and he battles for it. When he's on song, he puts his heart on the line and really tries tries. Now, I appreciate that in a racehorse, so I kind of went with a more, biased pick in that perspective. I like a racehorse that tries, and Swing Your Sword has done so. But as you mentioned, Sam and Sai was with trainer Brad Cox before. Of course, Brittany Russell worked under Brad Cox, so sometimes get these horses from her old employer, and has shown that this is a good circuit for her to kind of get them back into winning ways. So certainly want to use that horse underneath as well. Race number 2, our first event on the turf. We sprint 5 furlongs, also the start of the early pick 4. And Keith, you got a ticket for us again. Are we going to win today?
Well,
Are we going to get
had another one. I forgot to check what it paid yesterday. We had a slew of favorites, though, unfortunately, yesterday. Hopefully, we can get some better prices this afternoon. This is a $16 ticket, 4D to get you started. 1, 3, 7, 8 in race 3. We're looking at the 5 and the 6. Ticker tape parade off of a short rest. I think second off of a break as well. I think this horse is going to be a good user at a price. Extra medium you cannot leave out for Kieran. 4th race, the 2 and the 3. And then we're going to wrap it up in race 5 with the 4 and the 7. So there's your ticket, $16 in the 5th race. Yeah, that turf route. We've got some girls taking on the boys in there. See what happens.
I like it. Bit of girl power. We've seen that before, haven't we?
They can get the job done, and I think it might just happen this afternoon.
I just have a Preakness Heron 145 Swiss skydiver coming to mind here. But yes, that's not the level we're playing at today, but still plenty of action to get you going. And in race number 2, let's talk about the 1 first, because we have a video spotlight on her. That was from 3 starts back. But that was a race that came off the turf and was a career best performance. Now, she is going on the turf today, so what are we thinking here? Yeah,
we're looking like yesterday's second race. Lady Magic was the proven turf speed, and this is what you're going to get from Jens the Boss. This race is going back to debut, right? The 28th in 2019. We're talking about the Wayback Machine.
Ago.
We have to do it some of these turf races with the horses coming off of layoffs, and you saw the burst of speed that she showed from that inside post after a slow break, running against the likes of Hello Beautiful, Little Lion Girl. Just can't last here, but she's going to be forcing it a long, long way. Yes, Shakaboom is quick. Shakaboom almost always in front at the first call. Will she transition that speed to the turf? You're looking at the bottom side. It's there. Shakaboom's only about 7%, though. With
turf
the turf
sprinters, 14%
Is he
winners.
14%?
Yeah, better turf sprinters than turf routers. Turf route is very low, but turf
Mm-hmm.
sprint seems to translate okay. I think just a bit of speed injection.
Yeah, so you might have those two kind of hook up, and I'm projecting a little battle. And I'm going for, and I'll swing it dialed in. We saw So Dialed In win it the other day when hitting the turf for the first time. In the bottom side, Gracie's Way, the mother of Hello Gracie, our 3 horses this afternoon, was okay on the turf. Didn't win. I don't think it won on the turf, but hit the board once or twice, but was consistently in the mid-60s. I think Hello Gracie's got that perfect trip, kind of like Battle Bus yesterday for Linda Albert. Save ground and work her way outward as that speed develops up front.
Yeah, I use a price play in my exacta here. Ken's Lady 15 to 1 morning line. Just speed on speed coming from the Charlestown races, is getting on the turf for the first time, but I thought I'm taking a chance here. Most of them not too bad with both surface runners, and a little bit of a freshener. John Saltzman does well with those type of horses. A decent enough work on the turf, actually fastest of 21 last time out. I know that the 50 and 3 doesn't look that fast, but I was told by the trainers that the dogs have been out, meaning that they have gone around the outside part of the turf, which means they cover more ground and they don't go as fast. So that is these are times that we've seen throughout, as well as the fact that it's a yielding turf. I think that works. That gives them a good experience of how the turf can feel like. Now, it's firm here. She'll probably like that a little bit more in comparison to yielding turf, but it's a good experience.
Absolutely. And she was right there with the top. I know there was a couple horses matched that out of 21 workers that afternoon. She's going to have to deal with some other speed types, but encouraging. And we've seen some of these salesman horses hit the turf for the first time and pay a big price. So yeah, I think there could be an improvement here for Ken's Lady. Moslers have been okay. Smaller sample, but have been all right when they've hit the turf course.
Well, yeah, I've liked what I've seen from the Moslers so far. They tend to be quite flexible, and they just tend to run. The Maryland breds, Maryland sire, it seems to work here. So I don't hold that sire against them. Like, I think, was it Union Rags we were talking about the other day, who's only 5% on the turf. You start to wonder if you still like that horse as much, making the transition. Race number 3, nickel claiming level, 6 furlong sprinting distance once again. And let's go straight away to the number 6, extra medium. We do have a video of his last effort. He is looking for a 3rd win in a row here for trainer Kieran McGee. He let Higher Purpose roll on. You can see Higher Purpose there in front, but he seemed poised to go get him. And then once he started rolling, he just passed every single horse.
He was rolling, leveled off, leaving the 5/16, switches to the outside here and just comes grinding it out down the center of the racetrack. Extra medium, 2 for 2 of Pimlico. Kieran at this lower level, when he gets these horses kind of stringing races together, he just keeps it going, and I can't see any difference here. Run down the low speed. I love that when horses can do that to sustain. And man, this one's just in really good form. He doesn't get cute, keeps the horse at the level, knows what he's got, goes for another win. He wants to win this trainer's title.
He does. He does.
We don't know when it's going to end, but yeah, for me, but yeah, he wants to win.
That's the tricky part.
Yes.
Just keep delivering, keep performing at that higher level. We're getting all those winners in, and indeed, you might snatch the title. Do believe he's still close to the top anyway with Claudio Gonzalez as well at present. We haven't seen too many changes. I use the number 3 Federale on top, just trying to beat the horse that's going to take all the money. Extra medium is the horse to beat in that spot. Drops in class for Anthony Ferrier. Slight drop in class. Just hasn't been as strong as some of the races he's shown in the past. I think perhaps the class relief can kind of bring him back into form. Yeah,
going back to the level in which he was claimed, he was against the bias last time for 8, drops down. The speed's going to be provided by the Charlestown Shippers, the 1 and the 7. Awesome Buzz, Spokane Eagle. They should be rolling out there pretty good. Ticker Tape Parade, don't leave out. On a turnaround very quickly, Surrey's been deadly with this move. A little tune-up at Charlestown, going 4.5. Extra ground a day, and ran a big race over this racetrack last meet when encountering a lot of trouble. So I think Ticker Tape Parade's going to be firing through the stretch.
Well, I think one thing certain in race 3, and that's it's a bit of a spread race, as you can see with all the various picks that we have in this field, which means if you do bet your exotics, perhaps go 4 deep or 3 deep, whoever you like in here. I would, because I feel that there's a fair few in here that could certainly like this Pimlico's fast 6 furlong once again. Race number 4. Now, I've been coining this Rainbow Pick 6 carryover. We know it starts in race number 4, 625 grand. That is going to be a fair bit more with all the new money coming in today. I created a ticket. Now, I've been very fortunate that my singles have been coming in over the last few days. Unfortunately, I did get kicked out by both the $44 and the $33 horse, but at least the singles came in. I've managed to squeeze one in once again. Let's hope I'm right in this spot. I go 3 deep in race 4 using the 1, the 2, and the 3. The 3 is my top selection. Walk It Out Natty for Michael Gorham, Havey, and Toledo. Steep drop in class. Has struggled a little bit since going up against winners, but early speed and the turf didn't work for her last time out. I think it's good getting back to that main track. But the number 2, Glory March, is going to take all the money here for trainer Jose Corrales. I like the number 1, What a Tar on the rail as well for Hamilton Smith. At this level, he sometimes jumps up with those bigger price horses. I like that Caro Cedino takes the ride. She's very, very sharp as a jockey, still at the top of our leaderboard as well. Race 5, I spread using the 1, the 4, the 7, and the 10. This is that longer turf event here. I just don't want to get caught out with these turf races. It's been tricky. Some horses coming off layoffs, some a little bit more racing form underneath, but it is a tricky sequence, so I want to make sure that I spread well. 1, 2, 3, 4 in race number 6. The 2 is my top selection there. Lady Clow for Claudio Gonzalez. A break came out of the White Country last time out. Now, she was way outmatched there. She was she didn't receive any money either. $115 was her price or 115 to 1 that day. First time Lasix, new barn. I love the angle here. And then in race 7, I used the 1 and the 10. 5 furlong sprinting on the turf. Chauffeur on the rail is very, very sharp. And then towards the outside, number 10, Hair of the Dog for Annette Eubanks. I am starting to tightening down because, of course, my wallet didn't last me that long. 1, 4, and 7 in race 8. And then my single in race number 9. Now, Michael Trombetta has started to heat up once again. Had the double yesterday. Actually,
3 winners.
3 winners. The triple. Yep, the last race, the triple. Victor Carrasco had a phenomenal day. Rode all those winners for Michael Trombetta. Most Hustler's Touch, to me, projected to be the main speed in this spot. 5 furlongs, testing the turf for the first time. As I said, Mosters on turf sprint, 11% winners. Not too bad at all. She has a turf work under her belt, also on that yielding service at Laurel Park, going 5. Michael Trombetta always knows how to prepare them. $57.60, a little bit pricier than some of my other pick 6 plays have been, but I feel like, especially with the turf races, I do not want to get caught out. Let's get going here with race number 4, which is 1.16 miles, around 2 turns here. And Keith, you landed on the number 2, Glory Much, who I also have in second. Massive respect for that filly there at this level, because Jose Corrales at this level has been one of the better trainers in terms of producing these horses to get back and get that second career win.
Yeah, shorter prices at this lower level. He's been pretty deadly. And Glory March is going to have to maybe improve a little bit. Walk It Out Nanny certainly looks like the one to beat. But Glory March ran quite well. They went fast early, was able to settle. A little bit slower late, but I like the effort with encountering a little bit of traffic, too. Had to alter out in mid-stretch last time and kept going. Walk It Out Nanny and Moonlight Miss. They may get tangled up in here. I know Walk It Out Nanny just airmailed her a couple of races back over at Laurel, but things might be a little bit different. Moonlight Mist brought a pretty good speed last time, so I'm looking for Glory March to sit the trip here today with J.D. Acosta.
How about the 8? Why not you use it underneath based on that speed setup that you just mentioned?
Yeah, the one race it won, it was like a pace meltdown and just rolled away from the field. Has numbers on the go back that work. Turf to dirt angle at a big price. I'm going to use this horse underneath.
Absolutely. And we'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with the rest of the card.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Mile on the Turf up next in race number 5, claiming 16 to 12.5 known winners at 2 a lifetime. Keith, we'll start with, actually no, we won't start with your top selection, because I also have to mention that of course we can bet the late pick 5 in race 5. Very easy on 9 race day cards. The number 5 means late pick 5, 12% industry low takeout. As always, Express Bet as well as First Bet are preferred wagering apps, and just very easy to use. I got all my family going on Express Bet, so you know where I'm headed to. Race number 5, the number 4 is your top selection, Keith. Mikado, freshened, and she's raced on the turf in 2021 in comparison to some others coming with longer layoffs. She's been preparing for Cahill Lynch at Delaware though, but they decided to race her here.
Yeah, this race I get written up top. You see this brutal when I was doing the line. It's just one of these turf races, again, where it's a little bit of a guessing game, so I'm just playing the percentages. I'm going to just kind of back right into that. Mikado, the mare, the 5-year-old mare, is 1-for-1 over this turf course. The barn change, we've seen some of these horses coming from this other barn, Johnny Collins, into the Lynch barn and doing okay. Is speedy, has the speed on this particular turf course. It's going to work. 2-back try, trouble against a horse that's come back and since won a 3-in-life race. So I'm going to use Mikado. I'm going to use Seville Row. Ann Merriman's been very good past 3 years, 3 for 19, plus 180-day layoff. Okay. Not the greatest of percentage, but the ROI is there at 571. So protected with the waiver. They got away with running this horse for cheap before the layoff. So they kind of, they're thinking, man, they got away with that. We're not going to do it again. We're going to protect this runner. And Seville Row just runs against the right kind. Cannon's Roar, Dundalk. I mean, these horses have won a lot of races on the grass and run some big figures. Getting Forest Boy's a very good turf rider. I'll key around those two. And this is, if those two don't come in, I can't make a great story for the rest of them. Maybe Princess Adira has a good figure sprinting.
I used Mint Game underneath, but I'm with you on those 2 top selections. The Seville Row indeed kept the right company, fresh coming in. That last main track try, I'm putting a line through that. Seville on the turf, I mean, a son of Galileo. I'm just going to, I absolutely love seeing them back on the turf. I don't like them as much on the main track, to be quite honest. I hope I don't make any enemies by saying this. But I used them. To me, it is Seville, at least going long. We've had some lower level on the main track that do all right, but going long on the turf, I think, is much more their game. I used a 10 mint game underneath, just that last long turf try at that starter level. Perhaps jump up at a price 8-1 morning line. But I'm with you. I think the 4 and the 7 are the main players in the 5th race, kicking off that late pick 5 sequence. None of the AEs draw in, so we'll move on to the 6th race. Sprinting again, 6 furlongs on the main track here. Fillies and Mares, 3-year-old and up, starter allowance race here. And we'll start with the horse that we have a video spotlight on here, the number 4, Marvella Nasty. Blinkers go on now with Brittany Russell, and you can see her setting down for a drive there in that long second wire stretch at Laurel Park.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't use this, but this horse brought a pretty good kick. And what I like here is that just the sustainability into it. It was sharp all the way from the top of the lane through the wire. You see that never really came back to bring that run, but I think she's going to be okay sprinting. First time for Brittany Russell in a race. It's got some pace, ready to go. I think Marvella Nasty, guns blazing. Just taking an angle. Horses that have changed barns, that have shown me a little bit. They've caught my eye. They haven't run the gaudiest numbers, but there's something about these two that I think they're going to jump up and improve today and be a major player from off the pace.
I like it. I used the number 4 myself underneath, Marvella Nasty. Didn't get to the 5 though. Guns blazing, Claudio Gonzalez. I used the other Claudio Gonzalez, Lady Clow, on top. But talk to me about why you prefer this filly.
She's run okay sprinting. She had the race at a mile. I know that number didn't come back well, but she finished up well from the quarter pole home back in November as a 2-year-old. Brought that kind of run. Similar type of style as Marvella Nasty. I just think, Claudia off the claim, another protect move, not in for the tag. They must like her, a couple works. So I'm going to center around these two. Hufflepuff, very consistent. You can't leave her out. And the 2 Lady Clow, quick early, and the barn change. You've got all of that in the first Lasix going. So this is a good horse race. The values to me are going to be the 4 and the 5 in my exactas. I'll keep them top and bottom with a couple of these other runners.
Yeah, I like Lady Cloud based on the fact that she was in the wide country, 115-1 that they massively outclassed. But now with a different trainer who does very well with new arrivals in his barn, first time Lasix goes on as well, which I think helps. She's fast. She's drawn towards the inside. As you mentioned, Hufflepuff, ultra consistent. She ran a terrific race after, I think it was about 11 and a half months off to back on the 30th of January. Then came back, covered most ground of all, over 5.5 furlong. I think she was, my notes said, better next time with a ground-saving trip. Well, she's drawn on the inside. She has tactical speed. We know where she's going to be. The rail has been good. I use her in second here, but I like this race.
Go ahead. She may just follow Lady Clow around there. Lady Clow might be a little bit quicker. What do you think in that first quarter of a mile?
I think Lady Clow just has a touch more speed. It'll be interesting to see because what we have seen that jocks and runners drawn on the inside have been more aggressive from that inside gate, as we've seen at Laurel's Up, but it feels maybe a touch even more here at Pimlico because it's been playing so well and people don't mind being on the rail. So the jocks are like, okay, I'm on the inside. If the trainer's happy with me to go, I'm going to make sure they go.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose position. Hufflepuff, I don't think she doesn't need to lead, but she doesn't want Lady Cloud to get out there and clear 2.5 and just relax. If that inside is still playing good, she could be gone. But Hufflepuff, awfully consistent, pretty edgy 3 back, a good try to her. She came back and just missed in allowance company. But 6th race, I think from just a sheer race standpoint, she's highly competitive.
Yeah, I like it as well. Race number 7, 5 furlong dash on the grass. Maiden 25 claimers, all looking for that first career victory. The number 1 chauffeur, John Saltzman, first off the claim for him. We have a video of his last effort where he didn't, actually no, that was I looked at the wrong race here. I looked at that last race because I saw the fact that he didn't get away that cleanly. So I looked at that, but it's good to see the turf try as well, going all the way back to the summer of 2020.
Yeah, here goes Kenny Taylor again with a live turf runner today, right? You liked the one earlier at a price. Chauffeur is not going to be that price, but I tell you, this was the turf debut and coming off of just not some great dirt races, but showed speed, dropped back, it came again, second to Faya. We know what that horse is going on to do, right?
I was going to say,
there's
Faya.
no Faya. I don't think there's any Faya in this field or is going to emerge from this group. So this is a horse that was totally just kind of went off form on the dirt. They did the right thing, a freshening back to the surface that this horse may really excel at. So, hey, chauffeur from on or just off the pace. I think there's going to let some speed go. But I think he comes back close to that 70. he's going to beat this field.
Yeah, I used the number 10 of that, but the chauffeur, I did look at that last race as well, where he was drawn on the inside once again, bumped inward, literally broke inward, bumped the other one in multiple occasions, stumbled. So I'm just hoping chauffeur gets the chance to actually break a little bit more straightforward here. The number 10, Heritage Dog, Annette Eubanks, Horatio Caramanos rides. Best races for this gelding have been going short on the turf. This is a lower level than his last turf sprint race. If you look back at Pimlico, maiden 40 wasn't in for the tag that day, now lining up at maiden 25 level. Solid enough figures and has tactical ability.
Yeah, he and the 10, they're kind of like, he and the 4 are kind of the same horse. Baltimore Bud, they've hooked up against each other, right? They've got the speed, they chase. It's the last 16th of a mile. You always hear me say that. Can they just kind of hold up after battling, engaging in that? I think they're going to set it up for a horse like Chauffeur. We'll see. Crack the Safe. You're using the 5. I've got the 5 in there at a price play. I had a tough time lining this horse. Never has gotten really bet in its 3 starts, but comes off of a break. Went back, shuffled early inside on October 22nd. Went back and watched that race this morning. Flashed a little speed in there, right? And then just kind of dropped back, tried to make another little move around the turn, subtle move, had to steady slightly top of the stretch. That was on a yielding turf course. We're going to get Lasix on, right? We're going to get blinkers for the first time on the turf course. I like the pluses here, working here for Tim Salzman. Dirt to turf, not a huge sample, but in the past, they've got horses to pop at a price. I'm going to use this horse owned by Clover Hill Farm, and Crack the Safe might just blow it up. Crack the Safe, right?
See, I use them underneath,
get the money.
As you mentioned, because of the unknown factors. The fact that he's been running long on the main track, didn't enjoy himself. They started him out on the turf, so clearly thought that would be his better distance and surface. Now back and 3-year-old debut.
In the bottom side, Broken Treaty, when I saw this, it rung a bell again. I went back to check again this morning. 6 for 20 she was on the turf. Okay, she made a lot of money, over 100,000. I think she was up to, she won a 2 other than, and was highly competitive in 3 other than condition on the turf. So I think this is the price user. We're going to take the shot.
I agree. And definitely on the turf, we've seen some upsets over the last few days. So why not? Race number 5, restricted allowance here for the Maryland bred, 6 furlongs on the main track. On the rail is Malibu Beauty, who we do have a video of her last efforts for trainer Gary Capuano, where she didn't mind stalking, but when they slowed down, she moved forward. I thought that was a very, very clever ride by Sheldon. Very well timed.
Yeah, just had trouble 2 races back. You see steady twice, swung 6 wide, and kept on with interest. Now, this is an off-track, a muddy surface, a muddy-sealed surface at Laurel, but I like the improvement. Sheldon got this one to kind of level off 3 wide and charged home to win clear. Live and Let Live, a next out winner. He's a pretty quick kind of horse. There she is as a 3-year-old filly. So why not? She's improving. Whispering Pines is going to take a ton of money. The 7 horse is the one to beat. I've got lined at 7-5. It's going to be much shorter than that now with the scratches. The 5, Edie Meeny Mighty Mo, and the 6, Sick Pack Sarah. Take those 2 out of here. A shorter field now. Field of 5, Malibu Beauty. I want to see Sheldon get aggressive, hold position, because there's not a lot of true speed in this race.
Yeah, I use Whispering Pines on top. She closed into a slow pace last time out. And the victors that day on Cat had won her maiden 95 buyer as well up in New York by 9 3/4 lengths, and continued in the same fashion for Hall of Famer Bill Mott. So certainly not a bad filly to run second behind it. Oh, I don't think there's any of those type fillies in here.
No.
So drawn towards the outside. Probably wants to be a little bit more forwardly placed, as you mentioned. I don't know if there's as much speed, so you don't want to be caught out with a front runner that's slowing everyone down like last time when they didn't go that fast up in New York. You want to be close to, and that's why I was saying I thought Sheldon's ride on Malibu Beauty was so clever, because he was behind it, and when they slowed down, he was like, well, hold up, I'm not going to sit here waiting for you to then kick clear. I'm going to make a move. So Heavy in Toledo, let's make sure that we know exactly what's going on here. I like Whispering Pines. She is going to take a fair bit of money. So I'm speaking for the bettors here as well.
Absolutely. She's going to take a lot of money, and she's shown the ability to lay close in her races. And nobody in this field should be getting away from her too far early. I mean, if she's more than 2 off of it turning for home, I'll be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if she's on the lead at that point.
Agreed.
Yep.
The final race on the card is on the turf, 5 furlong sprintings. For the ladies, fillies and mares, 3, 4 and 5-year-olds, available for the claiming price of 25 to 20 grand. Now, my best bet, my single in the Rainbow Pick 6, I know that you didn't have her in, you have her in your exacta, which
Yeah.
I'm glad to see, because I
Okay.
always get nervous if you don't use my top pick, and I singled on it.
All
The
right.
number 4, Moser's Touch. As I mentioned, Moser with turf sprinters, 11% winners. This is a filly for trainer Michael Trombetta, who has heated up quite strongly once again. As we said, a triple yesterday, has worked on the Laurel turf towards the outside, hence a little bit of a slower time, yielding turf. Good experience for a filly that has a lot of early speed. I'm hoping that she gets to the front and nobody's going to catch
Yeah,
her.
there's not, once you look over the pages, not a lot of these fillies show a ton of early licks. She looks like maybe the speed of the speed to me. I'll try with the 2, Square Penny. Lake Squared. You know who she's the mother of?
Do you tell?
Battle Bus.
Oh, of course. Well,
It
I went
all
again.
comes back to Battle Bus,
I was
all
like,
right?
who? Did I miss a completely
Yes.
like royally
Yes.
bred Battle Bus?
It's,
Yeah.
it's Battle Bus for me. It's Battle Bus all day long. Has shown
Even
enough.
though you got beaten.
That's fine. I'll
Okay.
come back.
That's
I'm used to it.
fine.
Okay, but positional speed, the transition, Peace and Justice, a newer stallion, but has sired a stakes place runner. So why not? Sitting there at 8-1 on the line, Jeremy O'Dwyer. He's hit with some prices before.
Absolutely.
Square Penny, I think the transition to the turf is definitely going to move her up. I'm worried, she was cut out. They thought was going to be good. Ran against a good group of maidens up at Delaware last summer. Immediate drop to the 16 off the break. That scares me, but take the shot here to move to the turf. Maybe that'll get her over the top.
Well, that will do us for the handicapping segment. Now we'll get on to some other important topics with lightning round.
Okay.
Well, we've been talking about it the entire morning show, and we'll just continue to mention it to everyone because you don't want to miss out on this, do you?
No, you don't. I mean, if you let this one slip by, you're crazy. And, I know some of the players, they look, well, they're just going to wait till it maybe gets to a mandatory and such like that. No, these things do escape. They escape on a day when you don't think it's going to go. You have to stay in touch with it. Maybe some days you just don't invest quite as much.
Yeah, you do a cheap ticket.
You can do a cheaper ticket, but you've got to take part in it because you don't want it to go by. Today's card's a perfect example. We're spread in a lot of races. 1 or 2 strangers, that's all it takes. And you're sitting there and lost because you didn't play it. So, you got to step in. $625,000, what a great pot to jump at.
Yeah, 20-cent minimum wager,
Yep.
which means that you can jump at very, very low prices if you want to as well. A triple, a wonderful day yesterday for Victor Carrasco and Michael Trombetta. Just outlining Victor Carrasco here, absolutely set down on Skies Not Falling in the nightcap. That was also the start of the Stronach 5. Very, very game, right until the wire. He earned that triple right there.
Absolutely. It was wide, had a little bit of a wide trip, had to really get into him. They kind of kept grinding it out to get up. There's my horse just missing on the outside. But I tell you, all in all, Victor, he's been around here a long time, and he's been a mainstay. Has had ups and downs, as all of these jockeys have, but he's a definite trier. Big fan of him, as I am a lot of these jockeys here. They're a good group of guys. So, and he's done a lot off the racetrack as well. So, kudos to Victor, and let's hope he keeps it rolling.
And the Belmont field is taking shape as well, the 153rd running. And there we are, Rombauer, our upset Preakness winner, is set to go once again. I mean, what a wonderful story for the connections, for the trainer. How are you looking at the field thus far? What are we thinking?
I'm assuming, right, we've got essential quality going back.
Yeah, essential quality.
We've got it. Okay. Some of the problems. Bourbonic. I'm not familiar with Overtook. Hot Rod Charlie. That's kind of the talk, too, right? The jock. Is Pratt going to switch over to Hot Rod Charlie?
I mean, it'd be intriguing to see.
Yeah,
I'm not as on top with my connections. I haven't texted them just yet to see what's what, but we'll definitely keep an eye out to see what the jockey engagement will keep me in mind coming back as well. Known agenda for Top Pletcher in there. Rebels Romance, the UAE Derby victor, coming back to the Belmont. It was announced late. What was it? A month or so ago. Wasn't going to the Kentucky Derby, not the Preakness, but going to the Belmonts. And of course, Rock Your World, who
That's
didn't
right.
have a good start at
Right,
all
right.
in the Kentucky Derby, coming back.
Coming back, he can bring that speed, that tactical speed. Just needs to get out of the gate. Really was dealt a bad hand right out of the gate at Churchill Downs. But Rumbauer, I think if he brings something close to that last race, he's going to be a tough cookie. Central Quality going to be the favorite though. He'll be a shorter price, and looking to rebound because he didn't have the easiest of trips either.
No, still ran very gallantly in the Kentucky Derby. Sonic 5 payout. We've had a couple of big payouts over the last few weeks. 10 lucky victors got $12,378.30 each. Were you one of them?
I was not. I was not yesterday. No, unfortunately. But I mean, there's another bet. It's a great bet. I mean, it's challenging, and what it does, it brings focus onto the Stronach tracks. You get familiarized with some of them. That's what's kind of helping our handle as well.
Absolutely.
Guys dig in and start looking at our later races, and they're like, hey man, I like this. Let's look at the rest of the card. So it's really good, and it always pays well, almost always. Yep.
It's not easy,
No.
but you can sharpen your skills as a handicapper against a very, very hefty payout right there. So thank you so much for playing with all the Stronach tracks. And of
Yes.
course, here at Historic Pimlico, we're so happy to have you. That will do it for Keith and I. And then I'll be back later on today with Callie to talk you through the afternoon.
All right, enjoy the afternoon. It's beautiful. Get out here on the apron. Enjoy the live product today, everybody. Good luck.